Welcome, episode 2 of Pop Culture Patriots. We're off for a couple weeks with MegCon and people being sick and getting the crud. But we're back at it, despite all of our hater or two. I don't know if we have any haters, but
Legatus is a professional hater. He makes fun of all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't do his job right.
Well, I'm Drew Outstanding. I'll be one of your hosts tonight. I just started a new YouTube channel, Physical Media Warriors, so check that out. It's brand new, so just getting it going. And then we got Horny Alf here. Horny Alf, what you been up to the last couple weeks?
Yeah, man. I've been dealing with a pretty crappy situation, family emergency issue that I'm still dealing with. However, last weekend I did get to go to the Orlando meetup. I was dealing with this family emergency, and I was like, you know what? I was heading home, and I was like, I'm going to stop in Orlando. I'm going to go, and I'm going to have a little fun. So I got to see you there. Got to see a bunch of other people. I got to meet Jeremy for the first time, so it was a lot of fun. Yeah. But I'm back to streaming, so you'll see me streaming a bunch tomorrow.
Awesome. What have you been where have you been streaming over the last week?
My regular games, Darktide, War Thunder, but tomorrow I'm gonna continue my playthrough of Skyrim, and I might play something new. I'm not sure. Maybe I want to get into the RoboCop game. That looks like a lot of fun. I never got around.
Yeah, people spoke highly of that game.
Yeah, so I might check that out.
Cool. Well, yeah, Pop Culture Patriots, where we talk games, TV, shows, good stuff coming out, bad stuff coming out, and the classic stuff that we like. So, Tiny, what about you? What have you been up to last 2 weeks?
Not too much. The Insert Title Here podcast has been going pretty well most Fridays.
What's that about?
Well, we do some topics, but mostly it's just Drunken Emerald Arrow and a couple of us that are the regular panelists that we just hang out and have fun, talk about what's going on in the world. Sometimes we'll have a topic and we'll all get onto it. Like we did a great show that was supposed to be all about AI, and it did eventually get to AI. Every other Saturday I do the D&D with Heavy Metal Nate, and we're doing Curse of Strahd, and that's been so much fun. Yesterday was not only episode 16, it was Red Strider's birthday. So we did the entire stream where everyone was supposed to show up in either a Hawaiian shirt or like Kit and I were going to do sarongs, but then Kit couldn't find his sarong, so we did bikinis instead.
Awesome.
So it's like
sweet. Well, and then our guest of honor, we got Adam, the Renaissance nerd. Tell us who you are, what do you do, how do you know us people?
Thanks guys for having me on tonight. Happy to be here. I am Adam Renaissance Nerd. A YouTube channel of the same name. I've streamed just about everybody here many times. Alf and I do weekly gaming streams pretty much with the boys, purging heretics, killing bugs, all the kind of fun stuff. I generally do takes, reviews, lots of live streaming throughout the week. Lately I've been suffering the garbage. I suffer for your entertainment. Meltdowns, this and that, and it's part of the job. It's part of the job, and to watch it that good. But I will say this, without spoilers, go watch Cobra Kai season 6. It's all done now. Fabulous. If they come out with a complete series box set, I'm buying it. I'm getting the whole thing.
Good call.
Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that later at the end when we go over good stuff. But yeah, Cobra Kai was great.
It's worth it. I'm just going to say it stuck the landing. Good. So if you haven't watched it yet,
is that the finale or is there another?
It's over. No,
it's done.
It's all done.
Part.
Yeah,
and the series.
Last week, the last 3 episodes dropped last week. 3 or 4 episodes dropped last week, and I had been waiting. I had been dodging spoilers for like 6 months from all the goddamn assholes who insist on telling you what a goddamn little thing. When it's like, hey, some of us are waiting. Some of us are waiting because we don't want to wait 3 months between the sections, so patiently waiting. So every time it goes, oh, so Cobra Kai, click. I'm not listening to that shit. No, I'm not.
That's what I've been doing too.
It's like you're scrolling through Twitter and you see something like, oh shit, and you got to go faster to get past it.
That I don't get the Cobra Kai stuff. I do that. I get that shit with anime. Freaking anime assholes who need to talk about every goddamn episode the freaking week it comes out. So some of us are waiting patiently. to watch when it's done. Oh no, I got to talk about it now. No, screw that shit, man.
I'll admit I'm one of those people, but I only do it in groups where we're specifically knowing we're going to talk about that episode.
That's fine. I'm talking about these fake ass fans who roll on the goddamn Twitter. Oh look, I love this scene. Isn't it cool? No, shut the hell up. I'm waiting. Excuse me. Especially when lately the couple current shows this season, they took like a 4 or 5 week break between the end of the episodes. Well, One Piece has been like on a 6 month break because they caught up to the source material. I'm talking about like ReZero season 3.
Okay.
Dungeon, Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. They take them like a 3-4 week break before the final episodes come out. So
awesome.
It's annoying when like, oh look at this. I hate this. One of the things I hate about social media is the selfish people who have to run out there and say everything. I mean, listen, I love Dragon Ball, loved it most of my life came out, but I'm not watching Daima, but I don't care. But at the same time, the show isn't even out yet, and they spoiled that in his final moments. Akira Toriyama, may he rest in peace, he made Super Saiyan 4 canon. And I hate the design of Super Saiyan 4. I've always hated the design, but it's canon, so I got to live with it. But the episode wasn't even fully out yet, and MFers are busy spoiling the shit over social media that Goku unlocked Super Saiyan 4 or the new version of it as Toriyama redesigned it slightly for this. But still, I hate that shit. I hate spoilers. If there's one of the things I hate most in life are spoilers. Respect people who are taking time, especially if it just came out within a couple of days. At least have the decency to say spoilers. Give a chance.
Yeah, a friend of mine and I were watching Solo Leveling together, and it's just like but we're trying to keep it to the dub for particular reasons, and so it's like the new episode comes out in Japanese, you have to wait a week to get the dub, and everyone's like, oh, and when he does, like, no. I was like, no. I just 1 week.
It's a selfish behavior that fans are going to be fans, but I do not like that selfish behavior of instant talking because you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Do it in private, but have
if someone asks you a question, like someone's like, oh, have you watched the new thing? Did you see anything?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if someone asks you a question, you can talk about it, but just having to spew your enthusiasm.
Yeah. So
awesome.
That's
Horny Alf,
my
you want to introduce the chat, see who we got in our audience?
Yeah, let's do that real quick. Of course, Legatus Legionist was here first, as always, and very slow behind him was Lex Ludendi. They have a thing in my chat where they race to see who can be the first one to put a chat in when I drop a set up a video.
Well,
but
it's always so cool to me to show up, and the chat has already started even before the show starts.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Samuel's here. What's up, man? Kel jumped in. He said, "Cheers,
we got
ladies."
an Army guy and an Air Force guy, so we're not going to be late.
Clinton Hausch is in the house. Who else we got? Oh, Nick Weiser showed up. He said, "Hey, Horny."
Nick Weiser.
And then CJP was commenting on the mugshot. He's not having to deal with that right now.
Listen, it's the Ballbusters brand. I have to do it. Listen, I got a new one for next week. I got a new one after what that fat degenerate did on Friday. So
and then Nick subbed to my channel. What took you so long?
There you go, Nick.
And of course, just more Lex Ludendi telling me to shut up. So, but that's it.
Yeah, and while we're going, if you could drop links for all of our channels, especially Adam, that'd be awesome. I don't know if somebody can do that while I get things rolling.
Yeah, Legatus, if you don't mind doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
He won't do it.
Cool. But yeah, our main topic today is going to be the Captain African American, Captain 4, the sequel to the Hulk 2008 movie, whatever you want to call it. That's going to probably take up a lot of our time. We'll throw a few other things today, like Cobra Kai in at the end. But yeah, we're going to be talking box office. To start off the conversation, I got a ranking that we can play, little game. So let me throw that up here. You probably can't see it very well, but we got the GOAT. So here's my rules. GOAT, there can only be one. Greatest of all time, just number one. And so these are all the movies, kind of like homework, to get to where we are with Captain America 4.
You might be able to zoom in your page hit like the control and zoom with the mouse wheel? Make
All
it
right.
a little bigger.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, don't worry about it
right now. Okay, but yeah, so theatrical release. We'll start off with the. Oh, sorry, let me go down the rest of these. So, is anything a monthly watch? This is kind of like the next one up, kind of like an A that you would watch monthly, or either have or would. An annual watch, a meh, which is kind of like a C. The MIB pen, where you just want to remove it from your memory, and then this is just where we decide on which one we're talking about. So theatrical release, we got The Incredible Hulk.
In the end, it's an okay movie. Even though Ed Norton was far superior to Mark Ruffalo in every single way, I would personally I put it in meh because I actually I haven't watched this movie in like I think 15 years or so. It's the last time I watched it. I don't own it. I own pretty much 95% of phases 1 through 3, and that's one of the ones I don't own. And I chose not to buy it.
Okay. Yeah, it came out really close to Iron Man. And then the end credit of Iron Man set up for this one, if I remember right.
Yeah,
I
I think
remember
I think it was Iron Man, Hulk, and then Iron Man 2 was the order, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken.
Yeah,
That
but
sounds about right.
that's release order. Chronologically, it takes place after Iron Man 2 because at the end of the
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
Tony's in the bar with
That's right.
with William Hurt Ross talking about the Avengers program. Initiative.
And that's when they were all trying to set up the Avengers and figure out how all the pieces worked and setting up for the Avenger movie.
Yeah, so what would you give it, Adam?
Meh.
He says meh.
I agree.
Like
I'll say the same thing, meh.
Tiny, have you seen it? What do
No,
you remember?
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm more than happy with meh.
What about chat?
I would agree with that. Norton was much better than Ruffalo, but there's just something about Norton's Bruce Banner that just never felt right to me. Never really liked him in that character.
I think Ruffalo was good in the Avengers movie, but the later movies, he was not good at all.
I'll give you that.
Yep. And then keep a lookout in chat if they got any suggestions of where to put it as well.
So
yeah, Ed Norton makes the movie amazing. Somebody said.
Hold on, I could bring that up.
Yeah, I'll go with meh as well. It was they're just learning their footsteps in it. They probably didn't know how it was going to connect, but I thought it was fine. Like especially the main guy, the General Thunderbolt Ross. You know, he was great for his character. That's exactly Adam and I were talking about this on his channel earlier, where it's like he did such a great performance, and yeah, the actor did pass away, but yeah, from then all the way up to what was the last movie? I mean, Black Widow.
Civil War. He was in Civil War.
Civil War. Yeah, chronologically, then Black Widow. He was in that one for a little bit.
He was. I didn't waste my time with that crap movie.
You didn't miss much, but yeah, he was chasing down Black Widow. And if it's correct, they used, he used the leader's intelligence to find her. I'll try to steel man that, but that's kind of an afterthought, probably.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, Captain America, First Avenger.
Well, that's an annual watch right there.
Go.
This movie's great. This movie's great.
I can literally watch this movie. I can watch it on repeat. I will never get bored of this movie.
It's highly underrated for that.
It's fantastic. But I will watch it at least once a year. I will.
I agree with that.
It's fantastic. So that's why I'm putting it in annual because
I'm looking ahead. To me, it embodies everything that comic books movies were supposed to be. It made me feel like I was reading the comic books. It made me feel like I was reading about Steve Rogers I've read about since I was a kid. That was my Captain America, and he'd come to life. It was amazing.
I didn't appreciate it when it first came out, but in retrospect, I appreciate it more than what it was.
I was down with it immediately. I was always a fan of this movie, instantly.
And I mean, for me, it might also have an interesting. I'm a very small person from Brooklyn who gets in a lot of fights.
There you go. Relatable. I like that people weren't doing it just for a paycheck back then, because you had Tommy Lee Jones, which pretty good sized part, for his role, and
he stole every scene.
He got paid.
Stole every scene he was in.
Oh yeah, He was
Yeah,
great.
he was awesome in each one, and good counter to the doctor. I forgot the actor's name, but he was pushing for
Stanley Tucci.
Steve and what?
Was it Dr.
Stanley
Erskine?
Tucci.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci. Yep, and he was awesome in it. His death scene.
Oh,
So yeah, very very underrated. Good setup.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
oh yeah.
What about chat? You guys good with annual watch?
Well, we had
Hated.
that's fine. You're allowed your
Yep.
opinion.
No, he's wrong. He's wrong.
I will literally put it in GOAT or monthly watch, but that's only me.
I'm good for annual.
Yeah, I'm good for annual as well.
All right. What about the Avengers?
Oh,
Oh, all right. The first Avenger,
2012.
First Avengers in my mind is the GOAT. It's basically a perfect setup. Like everything that had culminated at the end of Phase 1, I think it came to they nailed it.
it was the first time in a long time that anything had been truly earned in a series. Now, I'm not going to quite put a GOAT. I know what my GOAT is on this list. And while this is high up there, I will put it in monthly watch because you can watch this movie repeatedly in the year because it's got everything that you loved in that Phase 1 in that moment. And it's interesting. I mean, I go back to when it first came out and the Battle of New York, which at the time you don't realize, you don't know until you get out of it, a 45-minute, the entire Battle of New York, 45 minutes of just intense comic book action. And they managed to have that be pulled off in a fantastic, constructed, balanced way without a mega boss fight. You realize there's no mega boss fight in this. Loki gets aced pretty easily when they give him a couple of lucky shots, and then Hulk puny god.
But the boss is the army. It's the invasion.
Yep.
It's an interpretation of that, but there's no hero fight, supervillain fight. It's just the Battle of New York to buy time to figure out how to stop this. So you got to give Joss Whedon credit for both writing and directing that entire idea and putting it out there and making it work. So that's why it's nearly functionally perfect in that sense, that they managed to not give you a boss fight, a final boss fight, yet they still give you a satisfying 45-minute long citywide battle.
And it was a lot of different, villains or antagonists built up because Loki turned Clint right away, and then the Doctor. So they're helping, doing their own, side task of helping the thing. And then, you got Loki, and there was a lot of mystery in it too. Because first, the Avengers got to form up, and then they got to work together, and then they're being lied to, and then so it was a lot of.
And you know that Loki's building up to something, but you've got no idea what exactly he's planning to do.
Yep.
I'll just say this: of the movies that are team up movies, I think this one did it the best at the end of its phase. If you compare it to the other phases, it's just my opinion. I had issues with Endgame. I didn't like the way they ended it. The time travel stuff I thought was ridiculous, but
it's Dragon Ball Z time travel rules, which are messy and people don't quite understand it. To this day, people get it wrong.
All right, we'll get there.
Okay.
I'm saying monthly.
I'll go with monthly. I'm good with monthly. Yeah.
I said the GOAT, but if I'm overruled, then that's fine.
Yeah. Well, also, sort of to what Drew was saying, every single person gets a moment, at least one moment in that fight. You don't feel like anybody's superfluous. You don't feel like anybody's less than. Everybody is in that fight doing something.
Yep. And Natasha gets her big setup at the beginning, which was awesome. Yep. She didn't seem like a boss
Clint finally
lady.
gets his brain cleared up, and he gets to being back to being just arrogant with an arrow.
Yep. Yeah, and that was a good character arc for Hawkeye, because then coming into, and we'll get into Ultron, where he gets a bigger role, and then the other ones. But yeah.
And the connection when we get into Ultron, the connection between him and Pietro, because that idea of being used by the other side, they share, and that's that whole almost big brother little brother friction.
And then going into that the mind takeover.
Mind stone.
So it's we had that in the new movie, so we'll talk about that as we get up to that. It's Yeah, people get taken over.
Well,
We've seen it
that-
many times.
That in this movie, I think, is the best time we saw Loki in all the films and shows. I think this was when he was at his best.
Yep,
I
and
can
that's
see
why they
that.
went back to him in Endgame, because that was him at his prime. All right, Age of Ultron.
Actually, Winter Soldier comes next chronologically.
Does it? Are you sure?
Yes.
I think he's right.
Yes. Winter Soldier is the
Yes,
next
yes. Winter Soldier's before Age of Ultron.
Timeline wise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Shield is Shield is still functioning at this point, which
I
the
thought-
movie then breaks apart.
Shield goes down, and then Fury has an extra helicarrier.
That's
mothballed.
well,
That's after Winter Soldier.
It's after Winter Soldier.
He says
Okay,
this
yep,
is what
you're right.
Shield was meant to be, and he says that line at some
Yeah.
point.
Fair point. All right, Winter
Uh,
Soldier.
this is my goated. This is
I'd agree.
the peak of MCU storytelling.
Yeah.
They managed to have it be a threat, but they don't overblow it. They managed to do fantastic character work on every single person in this movie. You managed to introduce Falcon in a very endearing way where everybody connects to him and loves him immediately. And you get the
Very grounded way too.
grounded away too. Yeah. And what you get here is, and now here's my story for this one. I had been waiting to see Winter Soldier. I had been traveling, going about doing some stuff, and I had been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they had their brilliant idea at the time to try and link up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Winter Soldier. I was going to go the following week. I didn't like to go at that time, premiere weeks. I wanted the theater to empty out a little bit, didn't want to be crowded. Well, nobody told me, or no, didn't tell anybody that the finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 would spoil the entire goddamn movie. So
Yeah, I saw that too. It was
I-
it was awesome.
I
This is a-
watched the episode and had the entire reveal that S.H.I.E.L.D. was Hydra spoiled for me before I went to see the movie, and I was pissed.
This is a
Oh,
good
no.
comment here. You can remove all the superhero stuff, and the movie stands on its own as a good spy movie.
Yep.
Yeah, and you have action that works. You have the story of Steve and Bucky. You've got everybody. My one small beef in that they didn't carry it forward, and I thought it would have worked well going forward, is that they didn't go down a possible Steve Natasha romance.
I was about to say that.
They set it up really well and then abandoned it.
They had
in
they
Age of
had
Ultron.
It's just because
they
they
had
wanted
so
to
much.
talk with the Hulk.
Yeah, they had so much chemistry in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go down that romance route, which they've
Yeah.
done in the comics.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was gonna if it would have worked really well, but they abandoned it, and that was a mistake. It's like the Russos were like, "Hey, we got a good idea," but then they came Avengers 2 and said, "Yeah." Whedon's like, "Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
her
then
F
Whedon's doing Ultra,
Banner. Yeah, I'm gonna F. She's gonna F Banner or try
which
to.
made like no sense.
Yeah, there was
That
no
one.
build up for it.
Nope.
No
Yeah,
build-up.
I saw Winter Soldier on a pre-screening for for military at the Mall of America in Minnesota. It was amazing. So you got to see it with other military members and stuff, and it was just an amazing show. I like the fight choreography. So that
Yeah.
combined with the soundtrack of the Winter Soldier score and stuff like that, that was just perfect.
I want to hear that shit from you, Sam.
I've really enjoyed it as well, but for me, it's not. Everyone always loves it more, generally speaking, than Captain America 1 or Avengers, the original together. But to me, I like those two a little bit more just because they just feel a bit more positive. There's just a little bit more uplift to those movies, in my opinion, than to Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
That's the only reason I think that they go a
I'm
little
going
better.
to disagree. That uplift. I'm sorry, I got to disagree. It's uplifting at the end because Steve's determination to break through to Bucky, and he holds it up. I'm here with you to the end, man, and it breaks through, and it gets, and he manages to get in there, and then Bucky saves him when Steve could have beaten Bucky, but he took the shots. He let him.
Mm-hmm.
He let him get over it. And that, to me, that's uplifting that Steve got through to him and Bucky managed to part of him, claw his way out and save him from drowning.
And
It's an
even with the Super
amazingly
Soldier
emotional.
serum.
It's an amazing emotional. It's an amazing scene, and it's amazing grouping. But to me, as a whole movie, the other two movies are more positive.
I can
That's all.
understand that, but I think the fact that I would say Winter Soldier also, it's a tighter script, it's a tighter movie,
That's
it's a
true.
cleaner
That's definitely
movie,
true.
and it's better. That's why it takes a step above then,
And-
too.
and
Also
Winter
the soundtrack.
yeah.
Soundtrack.
Oh, it's so good. And Winter Soldier has a very serious tone
Yeah.
versus some of the other movies.
Yeah. Hey, we're doing it this week on Drive-In.
Awesome.
This week on
Yep.
Drive-In, we're doing it this week.
Yeah, like I showed it, I got
Nice.
my trilogy.
The Captain America trilogy, nice.
Oh yeah. I think I got it right after Civil War came out. All right. Yeah, to just clarify the rule. So if we majority say to put something in GOAT, it can stay there until the end, and then we'll make a final GOAT. So
Okay.
I'm
so
voting
yeah.
GOAT.
So
for
feel
this
free
one.
to rate this as GOAT if you wanted to, and then it's like the finals, I guess.
Sweet.
I'm
So
going
Tiny,
GOAT.
what are you thinking?
I'm with Goat.
I think I'm gonna go close the windows so that I don't have to hear all the neighbors' kids. Be
Sure.
right back.
Alf, you said GOAT.
Yeah, I'll go with Goat.
Adam,
GOAT.
basically, it's a contender for GOAT right now.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yep, I'll say that too. And
I have something I wanted to talk to on this one, but it actually is more for Civil War. I'll save it for that. But
okay, so yeah, primarily talk about Age of Ultron. I
think
watched a couple YouTube videos on Age of Ultron. I heard it's like 5 movies all in one. It was tough to do, and that maybe that's what led up to like all these different string, theories and after credits and stuff like that. I heard it was like a tough movie to make. So a lot of people give it a lot of hate, but compared to like the new stuff, it's
Oh,
not
God, yeah.
as horrible when you break it down into like it's got like 6 acts. So instead of like a 3 act, it's got like a 6.
I don't hate it, but it had a lot to live up to with the first Avengers movie. The thing I did like is showing all the original crew and then the new superheroes that joined in fighting together. I thought that was awesome, but the story was a little convoluted.
Well, the problem was this. Now I'm with you. I think this movie. I've liked it. I've always liked this movie. I've always enjoyed it. I've always felt it got more hate than it deserved, because it is fun. It's a fun movie, and you're getting more actual canonical Avengers joining it. But I think Whedon made a mistake trying to go full Ultron right away. It was a mistake, and it was too much too fast.
Yep, he's a big boss.
He's not a throwaway
yeah.
villain.
And also, I mean, in fact, his Ultron always finds a way to come back. That's the thing. And to have him kind of be, I don't know if they've definitively gotten rid of him. We never know with the stupid MCU. But it's a fun movie. It's great. And but it was a mistake to kill Pietro. That was a mistake.
Yep, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
And they could have undone it. We'll talk about that when we get to Endgame. If they had done certain things in Endgame, they could have perfectly retconned it and made it oh so right. But I always like this movie. I have a good time with it. I think that with all its faults of being a little bloated and too much, it still is a well-paced movie. You get your proper payoffs here and there, and everybody again also gets their moments, like we talked about in the first one. Everybody gets their moments. Everybody has their fun, and it has a lot of really, really cool, excellently choreographed fight scenes. And one of my favorite moments is when they're in the Battle of Sokovia, where Clint basically tells Wanda, put up or shut up. You walk out that door, you're an Avenger. You stay here, we'll protect you, but don't come crying.
That's a good point. And that's what I was saying. Clint had a good character arc. It just took, 2 Avenger style movies to make it happen, which is fair because you can't give it to everybody.
That was one of the biggest.
His talk to Wanda and his talk to Pietro, was just
that
awesome.
That was one of the biggest complaints from the first Avengers is that Clint got kind of shafted.
Yeah.
But they made up for it in this movie completely.
Well, and then you get to know he has a wife, which we find out later, is or isn't part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that. Supposedly she's a Mockingbird. Am I saying, if I remember that name being right?
Well, they actually brought Mockingbird into S.H.I.E.L.D. They actually
they brought Mockingbird into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
But then they alluded to it in Hawkeye and little Hawkeye girl.
That doesn't count anymore.
I know. I'm trying not to.
Fan fiction doesn't.
I know. Yeah, Disney.
What do you mean? Also, well, like I missed who said it in the chat, but that Ultron's not a throwaway character. He was, and as Adam said, in the comics, he's a character that slowly built up, and then it just to have him be born, go everything, try to destroy the world all in one movie. It felt like
And
he was
Vision,
skipping
too.
so much of what
Yeah,
made him.
And
Also, it made him terrifying.
and
I
switching
agree.
it from Hank Pym to Tony, I wouldn't have done that.
I agree.
That was the other thing. Like, if you're gonna have Ultron, where's Ant-Man? Where's the null universe? Like, all the stuff that made, I don't know. It just, I really didn't.
It was a lot. It was a little too much too soon.
Yeah, and I think it lessened him as a villain. I didn't find him nearly as terrifying as when I was younger and I first read the comics with Ultron in them. I remember thinking, Jesus Christ, this is the most terrifying supervillain. He can do anything. He can really and this was just super powerful AI, but I don't feel it.
But James Spader did a good job.
He was amazing.
I think what they could
amazing.
I think what they could have done with Ultron is have him build up throughout Phase 2. Show inklings, little stuff, and then finale at the end of it. But it all happened in one movie. I think it was too quick.
Yeah,
it was.
Yep, it was.
Yeah. Well, also this obsession to put that Shield was never really Shield because Hydra was still inside of it all the whole time because of whatever his name is. You could have done that reverse, but you could have done it with Ultron. They start building Ultron. He seems to be working for them. It seems to be good. And he's literally going into everything in the world. And then when he flips the switch, he goes, oh, by the way, you're the problem with this planet. I'm going to get rid of you. He's everywhere already.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just to me, that made more sense for that storyline.
And he ended up basically being the Skynet kind of thing. It's like humans are the problem. Kill them.
Yep.
Drew, what do you guys think? Where do you want to place this?
I'm good with annual watch.
Yeah, I can put it under annual watch.
Yeah, I'm there too. I guess we're
something I do watch it like once a year. I do, honestly. I watch all these movies mostly once a year.
James Spader was so good at it. It was such a waste because he was so good at it. And we could have had more of him.
All right, where
we
could
have had more continuing on.
We said annual watch, the three of us.
Yep.
All right, I agree with that. Ant-Man, I brought this one up only because he kicks Falcon's ass. So that's what they don't talk about in.
I liked the Ant-Man character in the comics. I think I like this movie, but it's not a top contender. I think it's a funny little, is what it is. But I'd put it in annual watch for me or meh. I'd say annual watch, but.
It's not horrible.
The second one was bad.
It's a comedy. That's the way I treated it.
Yeah.
I didn't treat it. Was always my Ant-Man. Like I didn't actually watch. I mean, I didn't read a lot of the later comics.
I went in it with low expectations, and it did better than I thought. But I didn't hold it to the same level as a Captain America movie. So
it's meh. I'm okay. I'm willing to say meh. It shouldn't be a race because it's not a horrible movie, but it's like the ugly stepchild that nobody really wants to pay attention to.
If it never existed, the MCU would not be all that worse off.
I like it better than 2 and 3 for sure.
Oh
Ant-Man, 2 and 3.
I didn't even watch the third one.
But also just from the female's perspective, like I always loved Van Dyne. Like she was the reason why Ant-Man became a superhero. Janet Van Dyne wanted to be a superhero more than anything. She wanted to help people. She wanted to save the world. She was the Upper East Side debutante who wanted to get out of that shit and do something. And we don't get any of that drive. We don't get any of that. We don't get that the back and forth with her and Hank. We get the next generation where there's no drive, there's no push. It's just, I can be a hero, okay?
Yep, I'm with you. They rushed that too much. I would rather seen more Hank and Janet, because you see a lot of them in I didn't read the comics, but in the animated shows.
Yeah, in the animated shows, they were a big part of it.
Yep. All right, Civil War.
Ooh.
Oh man, Civil War. The first time I saw it, I was like, it's all right. But you go back and you see it and you realize what a fantastic movie this is. Now, I was also a little jaded because I hated the Civil War arc in the comics. I despised it. I didn't like it at all. But this movie It's fantastic. And yeah, everybody called it Avengers 2.5 because that's what it was essentially. It's let's get everybody in there.
I was
But
fine with it. I liked it
yeah.
because you can watch it under your first try watching it, and I related to Captain America, and then I watch it again and try to relate it looking at Tony's point of view. And basically, each time I watch it, I try to see it from a different perspective, and it just makes the whole thing better.
The one thing that really got me, that when I realized how much I really do like this movie, is when they've captured Bucky and he's at the facility, but Zemo sneaks in to trigger him. And during the chase to try and get him, there's that moment where he gets in the helicopter and he's trying to take off, and Steve catches up. And I realized that I really do love this movie in that moment, because Steve is holding on to the copter, he's holding on to the railing, and you see him doing it. And then this is one of my criteria. Whenever we do drive-in movie reviews, and I mentioned it for Winter Soldier, if a soundtrack manages to elevate a movie to the next level, that's when it reaches the highest tier of greatness. In that moment, when they play what essentially his theme for the movie, I am fully invested. And that's when I realized, okay, this is so fucking badass, as he's holding on to that, and he's just trying his hardest, and that's a hero right there.
I just like that it's like
moment.
Black Panther's best movie appearance.
Oh,
in
yeah.
my opinion. Like Black Panther had a great setup right there. And then the Peter Parker stuff was awesome. Just like the building of the team. Like it was just I love that part. And then the whole, the switch around with Zemo and stuff like that. But then it goes to and they call back to Winter Soldier, where Tony goes, "Did you know?" when he found out about his parents, and Steve's like, "I didn't want to hurt you." And he's like, "Did you know?" And he's like, "Yes." And I couldn't figure out for the longest time, did he know that Bucky did it, or is he just saying that I know that?
No, he knew, because when he goes in, they find Zolik in the computer. Zolik plays that scene on the screen in Winter Soldier.
Does he know that? Does it show that it's Bucky though?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
I didn't see that's the part I didn't know for sure.
Zolik info dumped him in that moment. You see it on the screens that Bucky was responsible for the murder of the Starks.
I didn't catch that the first time I watched Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
it was
I thought
so
he said
quick.
I didn't know it was him.
No, he knew.
Like that.
He knew. He saw it. Zolik revealed it all. He knew.
Okay,
he knew.
And then, well, the whole point is, and then Tony goes, he goes, "I don't care. He killed my mom." He didn't say I killed my parents or my dad, because he always had hostility with his dad, with Howard.
Yeah.
But he's like, "You killed my mom."
And a lot of it, that hostility is, at least in Tony's mind, is based on Steve.
Yep.
Because Howard loved Steve so much.
Yep, there's a lot there. So that was great, because like the previous movies, you could pull from those easily and put them into Civil War. But now we have 35 movies. You can't do that as well.
That was one of the things that Winter Soldier did so well. Everything was still integrated, but it didn't throw it in your face in Winter Soldier. This one, we're fully integrated at this point, and everybody has to be everywhere. But they pulled it off cleanly, and because the Russos understood how to do it well.
They did.
Yeah,
I think once again a slight issue with the villain, like Baron Zemo in the comics is like, he's a genius and he's an amazing fighter and he's all of these things, and this guy was really good at the psychological twisting and shit, but he just didn't feel super intimidating. Like I feel like even in the really good movies, one of the problems were the villains to some degree having gravitas. Personal.
Dude, the thing I liked about this movie is you had two sides of an argument. Both were right in a certain way, but they were going about it at different angles.
Yep.
And it leaves it up for the audience to decide who do you support, which I think was great. The other piece is, and I was going to say this during Winter Soldier, but I save it for this one. You have interactions between Steve and his old friend and Steve and his new friend. You got Falcon, you've got Winter Soldier there. Also, at this point in the story, you have Steve, who's actually had a developing friendship with Tony, and watching that split and then come to a conclusion at the end where they're just at each other's throats. I thought that was amazing, the way they ended that. And then when Steve walks away and Tony's like, "You don't deserve that shield," and he's like, he drops the shield because the shield doesn't make him Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I think
and-
they disagree
and
for
it-
Captain America 4 now.
and it felt real. Like it felt like this is what would happen if you had this situation.
Yeah. All right, are we good to decide on that one? What do you say?
I'm going goat.
I would
For me,
say
it's goat.
It's monthly for me because it just doesn't quite reach the heights of Winter Soldier.
I'd
Tiny?
be happy with either.
I'm fine with monthly.
We got to pick.
Monthly.
Just go monthly. I'm good with either, but
I say go.
I'm trying not to let my personal bias jump in because I love the movie. That hit at a great point for me.
Adam,
but-
you said goat?
I said monthly.
Yeah, go to monthly.
All right, we'll go monthly.
Oh no,
Okay.
Ariel's here.
All right, so for the sake of time, just go best part, worst part for Infinity War.
Infinity War.
I mean, it was the culmination of 10 years almost at this point, and it was it delivered on just about every level. I mean, my only disagreement was if we're talking Captain America, which is what we're kind of doing here. We're talking Captain America mostly, but this is why we're doing this. I didn't like Steve's portrayal in this one in terms of where he is, what he's doing. I would have liked Steve to be cleaned up. I would have liked to have him have the shield again already. I didn't like the arm guards of vibranium. I didn't like him in his tattered version of his suit. I would have liked a more crisp and clean Steve in this, although he is still Steve and he does great stuff in it. But he's not the focus of it though. They spend a lot of time other places doing in this movie. So Steve returns to a more central point in Endgame as a character than in this movie. This movie's more about other characters.
Although the scene where Thor comes back and he says, "You're copying my beard, huh?" That was pretty funny to me.
Yeah,
I thought that Captain America with a beard was interesting. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this.
I was not expecting that, but the scene where he returns, I would have rather him being clean shaven and look like the traditional Cap, but where he catches the spear with the subway train.
That's a great scene. Great scene.
It's a great scene. I just wish he had been clean shaven because that's what Cap would have been. He's
I like that part.
A straight-laced guy.
There would have been a Disney Plus show about what he's been up to, him and Natasha for that time.
That would have been cool.
You know, that would be a good Disney Plus show. Be like, okay, show us from here to here, like a miniseries. I'd have been fine with that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
amazing movie.
I'd have been fine with that if we had the old producers in charge. At the moment, you get that show, and it would be him and Natasha going to gay bars to talk to people about their feelings.
It would gotta be the Russo brothers.
Hey, Dom.
Yeah,
But
another thing I liked about Captain America in that movie when he held the gauntlet from Thanos,
when he was holding him
it's
back
like
for just a
trying his
second.
best, you know, he's got the serum, he's giving it his all. He'll probably get destroyed, but that's what Captain America is.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep.
So I'm going goat.
Yeah.
I'm still monthly. As great as it is, it's monthly for me.
Yeah, I would probably be monthly.
Tiny, help me out.
I'm with goat. I'm with you for goat.
All right, so how do we break the tie?
For goat?
Well, we'll come back to it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Endgame warts and all. I really like Endgame. A lot of people say, "Oh, it loses its tarnish when you watch it." No, I like it because it hits everything it does well. It does really well, and its biggest problems, that being DBZ time travel rules, which, as I alluded to earlier in the conversation, people to this day do not understand how it works. I'm going to say this. You might yell at me because it goes against the standard conversation point. Everybody that says Steve betrayed everything by staying in the other timeline, it's another timeline. It doesn't affect the MCU main timeline. And while he was there, he probably avoided all the shit. He probably knew what was happening, and he lived the life.
Yeah, he wanted to stay out of it.
And so, but he probably keyed everybody into what would go on, and that timeline was probably a nice, clean, safe timeline. So when people say, "Oh, Captain America wouldn't abandon everybody and grow old," he didn't abandon anybody in the main MCU timeline because nothing changed. Because it's DBZ time travel rules. Every time you create a change, it arcs off in a different timeline. Now it's crap time travel rules. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I hate
despise Dragon Ball Z time travel rules. I despise every fiber in my being. As much as I love Dragon Ball, it's terrible. But that's how it works. Harambe got what Harambe deserved. All right.
That
I don't
broke
give
the
a fuck.
timeline.
Oh,
Fuck.
but you're
Harambe
right.
did
Like,
everything wrong.
based on their
Anyway.
rules, he went back and changed things. That's a whole new timeline. So
Whole new
he could have
timeline.
he could have been like trying to be a family man, but still working with Shield, giving them
could've-
information.
He probably said, "Okay, this is going to happen at this point. That's going to happen at that point. Neutralize it here. Don't do
He's
this.
more of an
don't
informant.
Yeah, he probably told everyone what's going to happen, which is how he just lived the life. And then he comes back as Old Man Steve at that moment with a new shield that he took from his timeline, from that other timeline. That shield comes from the timeline he spent time in living with Peggy. So
That's another word. I
So
wish
are there
there was
two?
a Disney
So
Plus
there are
show
now
that
2
explained it.
shields in the main MCU timeline.
no. That one. No, remember Thanos broke the other one during
Or
the
is
battle.
it- it's still
the thing.
there though. It's still in pieces. Where?
It's in pieces. I don't know if they can put it back together. Well, I don't know if the pieces are salvageable at that point.
That's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
that was my hope for Disney Plus shows. We're gonna be like, okay, let's show Steve going back and putting all the Infinity Stones back. You know, figure out how to do the Soul Stone and the Ether one and all this stuff. I wanted to see that show, not Falcon and Winter Soldier.
The series and the miniseries should have been all about fixing any of the plot holes.
Yep.
It was
Endgame
simple,
would have been
there. It was waiting for you on a plate, and
now the other problem is that now again, warts and all, the blip was okay, but they should have resolved it like they did in the comics, where you brought it back to before Thanos snapped everything out.
Yep.
They should have and what should have happened was, they had all the pieces there. You had Spider-Man, you had Nebula. All you had to do was have Peter yoink it off, Nebula take it, and repeat what happened. Nebula says, hey, let's not do this. Let's revert it all back. Then nobody has to die. And you could have had the little twist. Pietro's alive.
And Tony wanted to keep Morgan.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. Hear me out. The only thing that stopped them from not doing the instant blip back was the fact that Tony had a kid. In my opinion, what they should have done with Tony is they should have done where he lost Pepper, never had a kid. He's at his lowest point. They could have brought him at that point.
Demon in a bottle.
Exactly, and done a blip back instantly, and brought everyone back.
Or a soul for a soul. Tony had to give up his life for Morgan to stay there.
Something like that, but they should not have just had the 5-year remain. They should have stuck to the lore and had everything go back to before the snap.
Well, yeah, because then it messed up everything with the movies going forward.
Yeah, and everything's been
stuff.
and that's why I said I love Endgame, warts and all. They made mistakes with it.
Yep, they should either reboot it. It was a good, complete ending, and they could have recast the characters at that point. It
stuck the landing.
And then they could have done X-Men. They could have done Fantastic Four beginning at Endgame. You know, instead of bringing all these side character and recasts and
that's Kevin Feige and his MCU crew at that point being high on their own goddamn farts, thinking they could do whatever the fuck they wanted. And
Alf, what are you thinking?
As far as Endgame, I'm kind of in line with Adam. I liked the ending. I liked a lot of it. I didn't like the time travel. I didn't like how they got rid of the main characters. I thought that was silly. But if Endgame had been the end of a whole 3 phase, and then they rebooted after that, I would have been fine. But for me, I'd give it either an annual or monthly watch.
I'm good with annual watch.
Yeah, I go annual.
Yeah, because you still can't beat Cat picking up Millionaire. You can't beat that, man.
I agree mostly with what everybody else had said. I also felt that it left a lot of. It was supposed to bring everything full circle, and it did sort of, but it left so many hanging threads that there's just too many like, if I don't think about it, I can enjoy it. But the minute I start thinking about this, it makes me think about that, which makes me, and I just go up, and it drives me nuts.
And they had plenty of time to answer those questions, and they didn't.
Yeah,
because I gave them kind of the benefit of the doubt in the last 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
All right, annual watch.
And it's just. It makes you want to. It also made me like, well, did I miss something? So I go back and try to reread some of the comic books that where the different stuff came from, and I'm like, okay, no, they did this wrong then. I'm like, damn it, it's not helping me feel better about the movie.
Wait a minute, is that
And
the
on top of
Eternals?
everything else, the scene that I actually enjoyed, but that created the worst fucking MCU world possible, was that stupid thing where the fucking women all show up. Like, yay!
My entire
yeah.
theater groaned.
That too.
But
Yeah, that was
groaned.
cringe.
I wanted it for 10 seconds, and then it should have been over. That should have been all. It should have been
Hi,
done.
yeah,
that was
that
it.
was
That's the
so
whole
Hi,
cringe.
Peter
You get-
Parker.
You got this huge battle going on, and all of a sudden, all the women somehow find themselves together.
And they
at
had
the same
to
time.
cuck Spider-Man to do it.
I'm saying I don't like what came up from it. I just, as a female who was a fighter on and off her whole life, it was a great little scene of the women badasses are there. I just enjoyed that. And
Well,
then
it
they
was
took
better
that
in
little scene
Infinity War.
that made me happy and destroyed everything using
Yeah,
that
they-
as an excuse.
They
I
did
liked it
something
in
in
Infinity War.
yeah, they did
on
something similar in
Wakanda.
Infinity War, but it was more natural. You know,
Yeah.
Yep.
No. I like the one in Infinity War better. I do. It just every time that scene comes up, I'm like, when I first saw it in that moment, I didn't realize how horrible a warning it was.
All right. The reason I put Eternals in here because we got Tiamat, the Celestial that's in Captain America 4. That's they call it Celestial Island or something like that in the
It
new
might
movie.
be this shit. We don't need
It's
to
absolutely
Yeah,
crazy.
just put it in the
Who's seen
pen.
this
The,
movie?
the giant celestial body in the middle of the ocean, they're calling an island.
Yeah,
I
they're
wa-
calling it an island. In the,
Wow.
was it Indian Sea?
Yeah.
it's the Indian Ocean. Yeah,
it's
Indian
Ocean.
Ocean.
Indian
Yeah,
Ocean.
it's
Yeah.
I watched it. The fact that they turned Icarus into a bad guy, which I don't believe he was in the comics.
No.
White man bad.
Yeah, but he's the only white guy apparently according to that crew. But if you look at the original Eternals, I think most of them are white anyways. So, but
Nobody
they had to
cared
change
for
it.
the Eternals. Pen it.
But the thing is Guardians of the Galaxy. Did really most people care about Guardians of the Galaxy? It was how it
Yeah,
was
but
executed.
James Gunn was a good director and writer at the
Yeah,
time.
It was
so-
how it was
Also-
executed.
Guardians of the Galaxy, in many ways, did what Eternals should have done. Guardians of the Galaxy, especially the first one. No, the second one too, especially. There's so much color. Kirby was all
Yeah,
about
it's world building.
intensity and such brightness and passion and like his work jumps off the page. Kirby's an amazing artist, and they took the base and they made it muted and dark and gray and boring, and there's no passion, there's no fire, there's no anger, there's no love, there's no lust. Everybody's so fucking muted even in their emotions. It's like the freaking background sucked everything out of everybody.
You said
Yeah,
they're non-conforming?
I think Eternals could have been good if it had a decent director, but
Chloe
it didn't.
Zhao is an abomination. She shouldn't be allowed anywhere near a camera. And she's a diversity hire. And what is she? She just got lined
Well,
up.
she's never done anything like this before. I don't understand why they take someone who's never done a big blockbuster, never done a superhero movie, never done anything that takes something from art and puts it in, like, let's make them the director of this thing that should be bright and shiny, and it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
And I brought it up on Adam's show that like they talk about these words like celestial and Tiamat. If they said Tiamat on there, adamantium. They said like it's
Mhm.
full of adamantium. It's like, who told you people what adamantium was or celestial was? Because in this movie,
exactly.
it was so self-contained. They didn't talk to any current
Yeah.
Avenger. They didn't talk to anybody that was in the MCU in the
What-
previous movies.
What
It was
year
all
did
just Eternals.
What year did Eternals come out?
Like
like
by
2021?
2022, I believe. 22.
Okay,
Actually,
so
I just had it up. Hang on, I literally just had it.
Okay.
21.
yeah, I only
21.
added to the list.
21?
They're using
Okay.
a piece from there as a plot point,
so
and it doesn't make any sense.
we've had 4 years of this thing sticking out of the Indian Ocean, and no one's talked about it until
Except She-Hulk.
Yeah, and
Live
how
on
big is the
She-Hulk.
thing? I heard somebody say it's like 3,000 miles upward because it goes into the clouds. I know, and I don't know how wide it is, but it also goes into the earth as well. So it's
That
like,
thing
how does that
that thing would have
like
caused
give us
tsunamis.
some kind of thing in the script that like a throwaway line to say how is our Earth still,
Hey,
Dude,
you know,
yeah, the
capable.
amount of displaced water, it would have caused tsunamis all over the planet.
remember, brought to you by Chloe Zhao, who is in charge of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot.
Oh yeah, the new one. That's right.
Oh,
No,
right.
really?
You didn't know
I'm
that?
going MIB pen.
I
yeah,
heard.
yeah,
I-
it's
Changed
definitely
my
been-
mind.
I heard that there might be a Buffy reboot, and then I hadn't heard anything after that.
No, they just announced this a week ago. She's
Oh,
the
okay, I
one put
missed
in
it.
charge of the new Buffy show. It's
Great.
not
All right, did anybody say other than
It's
MIB
revived.
then?
No,
Pennant.
it's
Wait,
Pennant.
is it revived or rebooted?
It's a revival. It's a revival.
So is Buffy still in it as like an adult?
Sarah Michelle Gellar is coming back.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, she's been putting it out, shopping to potentially get all the other actors back in.
Good luck.
After the way never mind. I will go off. I'm not going to do that right now.
All right. So the show, what is it?
Pennant.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Pennant. John Walker did nothing wrong. Pennant.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, the best part of the show was John Walker. The dude did nothing wrong. He killed a terrorist that just killed his friend.
Yep,
So
he took the serum, which
I don't care if he took the serum or not.
before.
Honestly, Falcon, if we had gone down this path the right way, Falcon should have just taken the serum.
Yep.
You know?
Well, and he shouldn't have given the freaking shield to the museum. That's how the show starts off. Well, I should say the show starts off with an awesome action sequence. I'm like, all right, I can get into this. And then it just went downhill from there.
I just don't understand his holdup with taking the serum. What's the downside?
Because they didn't.
Okay,
do
I
it
had a
in
theory
the crap
yesterday.
comics. That's why.
Well,
I had a theory. This show and the movie is racist. They refuse to give the black guy the serum. They give it to all the white guys. Like they give it to everybody except for
well, also, Falcon can't get a loan for his sister.
yeah. for
Do
her.
better, Alf.
Oh,
Do better.
So
Do better.
stupid.
it made no sense. The only time I laughed in that show was when they're like, okay, they're either a wizard, robot, or alien. So it's like all the bad guys or whatever, they're either a wizard, robot, or alien. I'm like, okay, that kind of made me laugh. But I guess
Yeah,
the rest of it related to real life where it was supposed to be some kind of bioweapon. And then that got a little bit too close to reality. So they had to change a lot of the stuff and made it more of a social justice.
And then Falcon saying, moralizing the terrorist that died at the end
Ugh.
as like,
Hey, they're social communists. Whatever. They're allowed to
fuck.
be.
Yep. And then he wasn't allowed to take down little ginger freckle girl who's leader of this.
yeah, you had to have a
resistance.
female do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
A white
Yeah,
female.
which was a waste
And,
of
and
effort.
ruin Sharon
And
Carter's
where's
character
Sharon
in the
now?
process. Just
I was
ruin
hoping
her
Sharon
character.
would be in number 4, and she
Yeah.
wasn't. So is she ever come back? Probably not.
No,
Nope.
Emily Van Camp has got other shit to do. I'm sure.
Yeah, and she had a
Yeah,
good
she's moved on.
chemistry with Steve,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
unless that was his niece or something.
No.
As far as my opinion
Well,
on this,
in
I'd
the
say
actual comics, I believe actually in the actual comics,
he
there's
did have a fling with
run where he
Agent
has
13. Yeah.
Okay, what did you say?
He had a fling with Agent 13. So yeah, Sharon
Yeah,
Carter.
well, no, but I can't remember if Agent 13 is the same as it's Peggy's granddaughter.
Sharon Carter. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just always thought I was like, you dated the grandma and they dated the granddaughter. Okay.
my opinion, the movie is MIB Penn, but Walker is GOAT.
I
Ain't gonna
just-
be so goat in a month. Come month,
Adam, what do you
so-
think?
Oh yeah.
Oh, pen this shit. Pen it hard.
Tiny, you good with that?
I would be good with it never existing.
Okay.
I
I'm assuming
Okay.
this won't be GOAT. So let's do our breakaway tie or breakaway sudden death for GOAT.
If
want
our
Winter
if our
Soldier?
Are we only
Right.
allowing one to be in GOAT?
Yeah, only one. The loser goes down to monthly watch.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we're criterion that Captain America is our focus of this, then Winter Soldier is a
Yeah,
better
Winter
Captain
Soldier
America
wins.
movie than
Yeah.
Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, put Infinity War in monthly watch.
Cool. All right. Then that brings us to Captain America 4.
Toilet paper.
New World Order, Brave New something.
Yeah, I didn't see
I
this
have
one.
not actually gone and seen it, so
You haven't done the homework? Come on.
no,
that was
I
just
did
our
not do the
homework.
homework.
I didn't get a chance.
I had an
I-
excuse. If I watch anything that bad, my pain will spike.
Well,
All right. This
Fair
is,
I
enough.
saw it in theater. I may or may not have paid for a different ticket and then moseyed into an empty theater.
I may or may not have picked something up off the beach. Yeah. This movie is trash.
It had loose ends like crazy. It's been recut probably a million times. It's like 4 different, movies kind of packed all into one. I wouldn't even. We did a good breakdown on Adam's show. It's like you don't even know where to start. Giancarlo Esposito came in at the last second. You could tell because the only scenes that he's in are the ones with
Sam.
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
And so it's like it just looks like he's not even in it, and just copy and paste.
And I asked this question. Well, we talked about it, and I'm just going to say it because you guys didn't do the homework. This isn't a Sam Wilson movie. It's definitely not a Captain America movie because Captain America is nowhere in sight. But it's not even a Sam Wilson movie. It's an everybody else movie, mostly a President Ross movie. Sam has no agency. He has no purpose. Oh, I'm gonna rescue Isaiah from incarceration, unfair incarceration. But that's not a motivation. That's not a plot. That's just a motivation. And the whole premise of the leader just wants to embarrass General Ross or President Ross and tarnish his legacy. It's so lame. There's no the villain is a lame villain, and then there's no real conflict between anybody, especially because Sam Wilson has no relation to anybody in this movie. He has zero connection to anybody. It's just a waste of damn time, completely, beginning to end. And there's nothing really positive. I mean, closest.
Yeah, can you find anything positive about it?
I liked Harrison Ford. That's the closest thing I could say. I liked Harrison Ford.
I'll say this: all the actors in it are good. It's just the script and the story is just.
Oh, the dialogue is the writing is garbage.
It's got a lot of good actors.
Yeah, but they didn't have anything. Either they didn't have anything to work with, or they're phoning it in, or they don't act. They act differently in front of the green screen volume stuff. Because you could tell, or maybe I just see it now, where it's like I can't tell if 2 actors are in the same room or recorded in the same room or not. Because even the daughter comes in at the last second, right before the credits.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, I'm here at the raft to say what's up. Sorry I didn't call back when you almost died." Like, Dad. So it's like it didn't even look like she was right next to Anthony Mackie in the raft.
Yeah, considering the quality of the screen that I was watching it from, I couldn't tell what was that kind of stuff. That is the one of the limitations of the choice which I make to view this. That I can't comment on the quality of the green screen insert stuff. So I'm taking everybody else's word for that. But you could feel in this movie where they thinly stitch together things. People fast travel instantly. There's no proper transition nearly from anything at all. People are wearing different costumes at wrong times. I mean, I've already talked about what I consider the controversy of Sam's second suit several times now. But even when you go to Midget Widow, when you check her out, when she arrives at the black site in West Virginia and that thing, she's not wearing a chest piece. But when they arrive in the Indian Ocean, she's suddenly wearing a chest piece, which has the colors of the Israeli flag on it.
Okay, for context, this lady shows up. First, Harrison Ford, spoilers, gets there's an assassination attempt, and it's right when Sam and Isaiah Bradley come in, and Bradley is the one that does it, along with a few other people. They're mind controlled or whatever. And so the president goes down in the bunker. Sam Wilson goes down and says, "Get out of here, or I'm coming in and talk to the president," and just like steals a security card, goes in. President says it's okay. He says, "Everybody else get out." And then this like 4-foot woman walks in, and he's like, "She can stay." And it's like, who is this girl?
Yeah, and
it didn't make any sense at all.
She was in an original cut like 2 or 3 reshoots ago. This thing was reshot 4 to 5 times. That's the director is lying when he says this. Well, we didn't reshoot anything. You're a liar.
There's like liar. 4 or 5 different movies here.
We don't even know what the original movie is anymore. We don't. So originally she was supposed to be an Israeli superhero. Apparently she's a mutant. I don't know much about her, but she was supposed to be an actual superhero with super strength, flight, all the good stuff. Yeah, all the normal shit. Because Disney are cowards, they took that shit out. And now she's just a former widow from the Red Room.
Yep, that's all they said. She's like, she's a former widow.
Better stay out of her way. That's okay. A reason to stay out of her way. And she's a 4-foot nothing with no strength enhancing abilities, able to take out 6'4" dudes in a hallway like nobody's business. So she's the closest thing you have to anything woke in this movie. It's not a woke movie. It's a little preachy, but it's not woke. That I can honestly say that. And anybody
But
who's
so
watched
they
it,
took away her superpowers, but still had her act like she had superpowers.
yes.
Great.
And
That
then
makes so much sense.
when we cut to the beginning of the third act, when they go to the Indian Ocean, she's wearing a chest plate that has the colors of the Israeli flag. So clearly that was shot from a different version of the movie, and she's in there. And there's other stuff like when the leader at one point before the Indian Ocean, and he goes to a house, says, "Hello, Admiral," kills this dude in the door, kills the entire family just to make a phone call to President Ross on the Indian Ocean. We don't know why he's in this house. We don't know why.
It made no sense. And he was like the prisoner in this thing, was what the Ross did to him for so many years, use his intelligence to get up in the government or whatever, supposedly. There's no like really backstory.
Does the leader
to all this
actually
stuff.
look like the leader? Like, did they actually really?
no.
I
in his
haven't
head?
seen it. All right, I'll get it
Yeah.
again. I had it
Show
earlier.
it if you
Give me a
got it.
second.
If you still got it,
It looks
up.
like
a
I
broccoli.
know, he was ridiculous.
I
can
heard he
get
looks
it.
like a
It's in my
broccoli
history.
head.
Let me go back and
Looks
get
like
it. Let
a
me find
broccoli.
it.
No,
Let me
Tiny, they
find
don't
it. Here
even
we
call
go.
him
Here
the
we go.
leader in there. He calls himself the hero.
Yeah, the way
And
I
I don't know what
understand,
the rest of them call him.
this
like-
is such a waste of the character, the leader too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's never been one of my favorite villains,
Ryan
but he's
Kindle could have
a
done a
very
better job.
good villain if for what he is.
There he is.
Yeah, there's your what you've been
my
waiting
God.
for since 2008.
And
That
there
looks
is
stupid.
there is a Funko
That
Pop
doesn't make
out
any sense.
where he looks like the leader. So clearly he was they had his actual appearance at one point probably.
Well,
and they changed
if you go as far back as the Hulk movie, when he gets the stuff dripping into his cut, he
Mhm.
starts turning green, and that he didn't look
Yeah,
green.
he's supposed to be green.
Yeah, he starts turning green in that movie.
this is the
And not
evidence
only
of
that, it
multiple
drips
cuts.
in there, and we obviously know what he's turning into and who he is. But then President Ross says, like, or he gives the exposition, a lot of exposition dump. Every scene, they're giving exposition, and he's like, "Oh, and Ross cranked it up, and he experimented on me for 10 years or whatever." And it's like, turned him into this broccoli kind of guy.
Okay, is that supposed to like look like brain matter or something? Like his brain has gotten bigger, and that like
They don't tell you. He's basically
Oh my
like
God.
ChatGPT, so he can
And
tell you the odds.
He's not
He's like a
exactly a
gambling
complicated
His
expert.
ability is probabilities. That's his
Yeah,
his
that's
supervillain
it.
power.
And he keeps getting it
Probabilities.
wrong. Like Anthony Mackie or Sam Wilson keeps like out thinking him, I guess. He's like, "Oh, he'll expect me to go back to the prison to save the guy, but instead I'm gonna go do something else." And then the leader's like, "Oh, you
But
got me on that one."
But the leader's supposed to be super smart. He's like,
Yeah, the leader.
he
like,
can
like,
outthink almost anyone except for what's his name from the Fantastic Four, who has a Reed Richards has a super brilliant mind. But yeah, that's
the leader has never stayed in prison anywhere except for like when he was in the negative zone because he can get out of anything because
Right. And he wasn't even
and
a
he's green
prisoner of
because
this
he's got
place.
gamma radiation.
He
Like it's
took
not a
over.
complicated idea.
and what I understand is that Giancarlo Esposito was totally wasted on this movie.
Yeah, completely. He could have had a much better, and he fought Sam Wilson and like beat Captain, Sam Wilson's ass, and like it's just none of it made any sense at all.
He's supposed to be the opposite of Hulk. Hulk got the radiation and he got body big, brain little. Leader got the radiation and he never gets to turn back, A, and B, his brain is huge and it was already smart. I'm sorry, I'm just going to lose it if I keep going down this way.
No, he was trying to get the Red Hulk to come out, which he didn't know it was going to be the Red Hulk. They didn't say that if he knew or not, because that was the first time it happened was when he turns into Red Hulk. He was trying to get him to come out when he was on the ship and they're doing this fight for a world war between us and Japan or something like that. It was
that makes sense. When I heard it, Japan was involved, I think that's stupid. Japan's military
strange.
is minuscule.
Is us.
Yeah, we're supporting Japan. Yeah, it made no sense. Like Harrison Ford needed Japan's approval to get all these countries to get on a treaty in order to split up the adamantium on Celestial Island evenly throughout the world.
Oh my God.
Well, that's
so
stupid.
Even if you did watch Wakanda Forever, where they had it was a whole thing about releasing the vibranium.
Yep.
The Namor didn't want them to do it. And it's like, okay, now you have a more powerful metal, and none of Wakanda doesn't care, I guess, or nobody else in the MCU other than Japan.
Oh, and did
India.
they say that adamantium is more powerful than vibranium?
No, it's just the strongest
It's just
metal.
on the they hyped it up a lot at the beginning.
Got it.
And you realize there's a lot of problems now, because if this is the first appearance of adamantium, that means not a single, essentially, Weapon X subject is in existence. No Wolverine, no Lady Deathstrike, no Omega Red.
Hey, Vagabundo.
Yeah. So, yep, I got pretty exhausted. I just started listening to Drinkers open bar while I was in the theater.
Do you want me to bring up these numbers for?
Yeah, go in the box
weekend?
office. Adam can help out too.
Adam can help out. This is the one I picked up from I think it was Gary. 90 to 96 million, and now I'm hearing is above 100 million for the weekend.
It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a fucking lie. Because go to the numbers. I see you have it there. Or is that the numbers you have on the next tab there?
No, that's
I can get it. All right.
if you could bring it up, that'd be great.
I still have it from earlier.
I do have the adjusted numbers from previous Captain America films that I'll bring up in a second here.
Here we go.
All right, here we
go. Yeah, I was on Box Office Mojo, which I found out now is powered by IMDb Pro.
The numbers is the best one to go to, because they don't have an agenda. It's just hard numbers. This is the real thing, and we can go right here to the box office down here. Look, the Thursday 12 million, and then we're up to 40 million on Friday. Yesterday, up 67 million. Today, Sunday, we do not have Monday numbers yet. Sunday, 88 million. So here is what you have. 88 million domestic, 92 international. Get back to that in a second. 180 million worldwide opening weekend, because tomorrow is President's Day. It's the start of a new week. It doesn't count. Opening weekend is $180 million. So you got disgusting film. You got all those stupid social media things on X. All these ones that want to put out this shit saying, oh, it's $192 million. Where did the $12 million come from? There is not a single bit of hard number evidence where it came from for that, because here's your international, 92 million. And you can see here every major market. It's open every major market. There's no staggered release. It's everywhere. That means in these couple of days, it only pulled down 92 million worldwide. This movie is going to fail. And no, it does not have a $180 million budget. It does not. That is a lie.
That was the reshoots.
That's one of the reshoots.
That's one of the reshoots.
Just the reshoots.
So, I mean, this thing is a failure. And they are using every essentially obfuscation type of wording to get around that when they say, oh, it's the third high and grossest Captain America or third high and launch Captain America movie. Oh, it's this and this thing right here. Oh, let's leave out adjusted for inflation when it comes to the kind of shit. Because today on the show, on Roundtable, Jed the Hollywood Scholar, he went and did the math. He adjusted for inflation. Brave New World, when adjusted for inflation, only beats First Avenger by $3 million. And like we talked about when we were doing the rankings, that's First Avenger. That's phase one where nobody's invested yet.
Is that domestic or altogether?
Altogether. No, domestic.
Okay.
Domestic.
Okay, just domestic. Okay.
Yeah, I believe Jed said domestic.
Drew, did you want to bring up your stats?
Yeah, I was just bouncing around on IMDb.
I mean, I've got mine too. I can bring mine up, but it's, yeah.
So yeah, this one's saying the domestic 100,000, international 92, 192 so far, and it's not correct at all.
But they don't show it. They have no evidence. I mean, that's why I like the numbers. The numbers shows where it comes from.
So I took some time to do some adjustments for inflation. So First Avenger I saw on the numbers.com website. It said for 2011 when it came out, 65 million opening day weekend. Adjusted for inflation, that's 93.5. Winter Soldier. What year did Winter Soldier come out? Was
14.
14.
You can pull your thoughts out.
Well, I did this all on paper.
Okay.
It was 95 million in 2014, 128.6 today. Civil War, 179 back in 2016, 234.5 for today. And then Endgame, just to give reference for where it was at its peak, 357, and adjusted for inflation, 429. So it just shows where we're at from the peak, and then compared to the other.
Look at this, Adam. This is kind of what you're talking about. The missing numbers. They're already projecting Monday. Hasn't happened
bullshit.
yet.
We're still literally in Sunday.
11.5 million.
Now, if you want to say that tomorrow, then I'll say that tomorrow. But that's not the opening weekend. That's the first Monday of next week. So they're fudging it to try and make it look like, 192 million opening weekend. That's Monday. The weekend ends today on Sunday. That's bullshit. That goes into next week's totals.
Yep, it's ridiculous.
So it's lying. It's obfuscation. It's twisting of the highest regard. And every single shill out there is pushing it. They're running with it because they're going to carry the water. They're going to carry the goddamn water. That's what they're going to do. And it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. I hate it. It makes me sick. And this is why we exist. We exist to counter their bullshit narratives.
Yeah, Disney is notorious for this shit. Lying about all their numbers, posting things in a way that is very deceiving. Yeah, we got it. That's why I think we're pointing this everything that they're doing, because 182 million or whatever it was, that there's no way for as many reshoots as they've done. There's no way that's how much it costs.
No. The real cost of this movie is somewhere between 350 and 400. That's the truth. Because this with all the CGI in this movie, every other CGI heavy Disney MCU movie was 250 or more.
Look at Ant-Man 3. That was probably the most CGI heavy movie that's out there for the Marvel. And what were they at? They were probably 300 to 400.
Yeah, we know the truth of that because they let that one slip recently. So no, there's no way this movie cost $180 million. It's no way at all. So this thing, in truth, needs between like $800 and $1 billion to break even. And even let's play their game. They're 180 million, needing about 500 million there between 400 and 500 million break even. They're not going to get that. With an opening weekend like this, they are going to limp over 300,000, maybe get close to 400 million. So they're not even going to get to the break even of their fake ass production number.
Oh, Odin said they're including Monday numbers.
Well, that's what we just said. They're including Monday numbers.
Holy shit, I didn't hear that.
We said that. They are including Monday numbers, which haven't even happened yet. It's one thing whenever we do the box office recap on a Sunday and we start at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon and they're saying, okay, it looks like this is what the Sunday numbers are. Guess what? We're halfway through Sunday. That's a fair estimation to this point. We're not even in Monday yet. And to that point, but what about paid for seats? Because everybody reserves their seats.
Wait.
Jed went to see this last night. He went to see it, and when they bought their tickets, they said at the theater, they said it's 90% full. We're going to make you sit at the front. He said there were like 12 people in there when they went to see it.
Who's buying the tickets? Disney?
Yeah, the mouse.
I don't know.
Yeah, and just for reference, this scene never happens.
Nope.
This is a made-up thing.
They cut it out.
Seriously?
According to Gary,
Sam did not take a punch like that. And Red Hulk was in there for about 5 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
And he was like the victim. You know,
What?
they set him up as it.
Even if he had a vibranium suit, he'd be jelly inside that suit.
But he didn't do it. It did happen. According to Gary, said on FNT on Friday from one of the sources he has on these movies, they said this was in the movie, but it was cut out. It got cut out. It did exist, but they cut it out. I don't care, Static. Give it a fucking 3-day weekend. It's a Monday. It counts to the next week.
You shouldn't include a Monday. Fuck.
Bullshit.
There's Jeremy. Steiner math.
Steiner math.
It's just fucking Steiner math.
22 to third.
Everybody knows it. It's laugh. And they could say, we'll play their game again. $192 million opening weekend. Doesn't change the fact there's likely to be a 75% drop off next week because word of mouth on this movie is dog shit.
Yeah, and that's what created the MCU before was you go see it multiple times. So the diehards will see it on opening day, on the preview day, everything like that. And then you'll go back and watch it a second time, either with friends, with family, whatever. That's what I used to do. And
That's
now
if
it's
it's
like,
good.
no, I'm not going to see these
No.
movies more than once. I don't think I've seen a single
Well, it's
one.
like Spider-Man: No
Endgame.
Way Home. I think I went and saw that 3 times. I thought that was a great movie, but that's the only movie since 2 or 3 movies since Endgame that were decent. You know,
And and there's a stipulation on that one. That's more of a
Nostalgia.
Sony movie than
Yep.
True.
a Disney MCU movie. That's
But
really
you
a
brought
And
you
Sony's
brought
protective of Spider-Man.
but Sony was in charge of that movie.
right, but you brought
And-
back the other Spider-Man,
Yeah,
and
because it was a Sony
they even
movie.
redeemed Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
But it was a Sony production. That's why it worked.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
Marvel Studios had no say in anything. Which
Yeah,
is
but
why they only
Sony's
got their
been
$20 million cut.
Sony's been shit.
well,
Since
they
then.
had contractual obligations to take care of
Mm.
Spider-Man in certain ways. They wouldn't let him.
Yep.
They don't just turn him over and be like, okay, here you go, new director or whatever that is.
There's actually some type of like in the I don't know what contract, but somehow in his thing, he has to be played as a straight white male.
Peter Parker, yeah.
That's like in the old school
Yep.
like Stan Lee contracts.
Yep.
He must be white and
If
straight.
you use
which
this
is
character, you cannot change these immutable things.
which is why when you look at Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man right now, that horrific freaking show
God,
right
it's
now,
awful.
everybody around him is diverse.
Yep.
Except him.
Yep.
Everybody's diverse.
because they have to.
They have to.
I went to school in New York. I've been to schools in Queens and Brooklyn, and even when they're very diverse, there's still some white kids left.
Yeah, they're not gone altogether.
My theory is MCU went down when Stan Lee passed away. Everything went downhill at
Yeah.
that point. When Stan Lee stopped being a producer, I don't know how much he was doing on set, but yeah.
But all he had to do was stand around and make sure that they didn't go too far off the rails, because if they did, he'd speak up and everyone would be on his side, and they knew it.
Yep. What can
He
you
kept
do?
them honest.
So what do we got next for the MCU?
I
I mean,
Thunderbolts!
MCU this year.
Thunderbolts,
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts in a couple
Excited.
months. April.
and
I
then
think Thunderbolts
I
is April.
think was it June or July?
Oh, no, it's
Ironheart.
July. No, that's TV show. That's TV show.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Ironheart though.
No, we don't. The major things are we're now through Brave New Twitter world, and now we're on to Thunderbolts in April, and then July 25th, Baby Steps.
Oh, Fantastic Four. Yep.
Yeah.
What do you
I
think
have
is going
to
to
say,
do better?
I don't think Thunderbolts is going to be good, but I did actually find myself laughing at the trailer a bit.
It's Thunderbolts is going to do meh. I mean, it's only going to make probably between 200 and 300 million because nobody cares about this movie. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Would you compare it to Suicide Squad numbers? Either one?
Oh,
Which one?
Well,
the
Suicide
I
Squad
think the
has-
second one was better. The second
Yeah,
Suicide
well,
Squad.
you can't even really talk about it because of its release. You can't really talk about the second one and what it made because of its day and day release. But
Yeah.
Thunderbolts is. We don't know what its production budget is yet. We don't know that yet. So when we do, I'll be able to make a better guess on probably how much it'll fail. It'll fail. And then I'm on the record multiple times saying Fantastic Four barely makes 500 million. I don't care what the budget is. Barely makes 500 million because you're going to have so many failures right now. People are going to be exhausted from the garbage.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the competition in July between Jurassic Rebirth, Superman, and Baby Steps, it's Superman's to lose, but Rebirth probably wins. If Superman is good, Superman wins the summer, wins everything, and the DCU has a fighting chance. If Superman is even but it's still going to do better than Baby Steps.
I think Jurassic Park's going to win as far as
it's going
money.
to win. Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
It's Jurassic Park franchise has become the new Fast and the Furious. That's all it is. It's just
Are the dinosaurs going to space?
They keep making movies.
It's an easier hill to climb to accept dinosaurs than to accept your third trash MCU movie of the summer and a Superman movie covered in controversy in terms of look and feel and smell and everything involved. There's a lot of problems. Yeah,
and the Jurassic Park movies aren't putting out movies 2 times a year. So
yeah. And dinosaurs. It's very easy to accept dinosaurs. Not hard. Very easy.
Dinosaurs will always, because even the people who grew up and realized that Jurassic Park was bad, they now have kids who want to see dinosaurs.
So I liked the first and the third one, as far as the original movies.
The first one is very good, even though it's not book accurate. And the second one is an abomination because they really butchered the book for the second one, and the third one is just fan fiction. So
yeah, the third one they brought in some scenes I think they originally had in the book,
as they've done in this one too. They're doing that in this one too. They're bringing in original book scenes to try and bolster it. So
is this supposed to be like a reboot of the whole Jurassic thing?
No, it's just another Jurassic. It's the fourth Jurassic World movie is what it is.
Oh, okay. We're back to Jurassic World. Got it.
It's Jurassic World.
Yeah, they skipped over the whole dinosaurs in our communities and stuff like that. And
yeah, like the T-Rex running around LA was something I thought we should deal with.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gotten crazy at this point. It keeps leading me on, be like, all right, we're gonna have a good story, and then it just doesn't happen. So,
well, maybe if Jurassic World keeps going, we can eventually get a live action version of the great 1980s Saturday morning cartoon show Dino Thunders. We can have Dino Warriors.
I remember that.
I think I just watched it on YouTube not too long ago.
Dino Thunder. We're getting close. We're an hour and a half. I want to talk about Cobra Kai.
Talk.
Well, we're not going to get into spoilers, but I finished it up today. I enjoyed the crap out of it. I thought it was a good, like Adam said earlier, they nailed the ending. This is Johnny Lawrence's story. I'll just leave it at that. And he comes full circle from the beginning of the season, where he's at a certain spot, and where it is at the end. It's his story, and it goes full circle, and I think they nailed it. I couldn't have asked for more, honestly. What do you think, Adam?
Oh, I think it was great. I mean, you got 6 seasons, up and down. I mean, not every season is gold star, but I pretty much always enjoyed my experience watching Cobra Kai. I came late to the party when season 3 came out. I had kind of been not ignoring it, but like, do I really care about the Karate Kid franchise this much? But then I reached a point where, okay, people are really hyping this up. They're really excited. I need something to watch. So I'll burn through seasons 1 and 2, and I'll dive into 3. And I was so pleasantly surprised at how good it was that this insane world of karate tournaments and karate fighting is that entertaining. It is the gold standard of how you resurrect a franchise that was essentially dead and buried, and do it with respect and fun, and not only bring back original characters and cast members and storylines, but then cleanly hand it off to a new generation of characters that we are all. This is how you invest your time and feelings in new characters, by not diminishing old characters. But it tells a complete story, and like Alf said, everything is paid off in these final episodes of season 6. So it's grand, it's fun. As I said earlier in the stream, when this thing is released on all 6 seasons physical media, I'm buying it. Maybe not that minute, but it goes on my list of things I want to put on the shelf behind me.
That, and you see redemption arcs that pay off. It just, it was great.
God damn it, Cloud! I'm telling Kratos,
he's never seen anything.
Yeah, I jumped in kind of like Adam with season 3. Like the first couple were on like YouTube Red or TV or something like that. Yeah, I jumped into it not expecting a lot and freaking loved it. Well, for one, I liked on How I Met Your Mother how Barney thought that Johnny was the hero.
Yeah, that's where it originated.
Yeah, that's where the idea got started.
Because even Johnny, the character, what is the actor's name that plays Johnny?
William Zabka.
Zabka. He showed up on that show, How I Met Your Mother. Him and
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio both showed up on that show. It was hilarious.
Yep, they must have
and that was the concept. That was Ralph Macchio's character was the bad character, and Johnny Lawrence was the good guy.
So that proves that they didn't just throw something together, kind of like they're doing with this Buffy or whatever, the current Goonies, all these things. They're not just thrown together based on what's out there. They're putting intentionality in it and time. Like that, How I Met Your Mother was like, 10 or so years ago? More than that, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
they ended in 2014, I think.
Yeah. And then however long they started on the Cobra Kai. So it's like, we don't want something that's just thrown together. If you're going to do nostalgia, and Me and Dan Vass were talking about this on Twitter because he was talking about, I can't remember what it was. Oh, Hercules and Xena and stuff, and bringing that back.
He blocked me
Take it
because
away.
I said that he had a post up that someone said was a thirst trap, and I agreed with it, and I got blocked.
Oh no,
No.
Dan, unblock Tiny.
All I
Yeah.
said was, I mean, I agreed that he was hot in a picture. How is that a bad thing?
He gets a lot of older women coming after him in crazy kind of ways.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So if you're gonna
Sorry.
do nostalgia, it's got to be done with extreme amount of time
Yeah.
and care and
Yep.
the right people, time and care, and they just don't do that nowadays.
Well,
No.
So yeah, now we're hearing about Buffy, we're hearing about
They don't think it
Goonies.
through, and then they sit there wanting to do expansions and side things and stuff, but they don't think it through when they're doing it in the first time, so they allow you to do such things.
Plan
And
it
that-
out.
that's-
Plan out how many seasons you want to do, just like the Game of Thrones books in the shows that they're all doing right now. It's like create a beginning, middle, and end, and don't
Yep.
worry about building it to the next one. Just
If
Try
you,
like
if you
House
create
of the Dragon.
characters, if you create characters people connect with, and you have a world people want to see, no matter what it is, even if you've done your beginning, middle, end, people will want to come back. But you've
Yeah.
got to build a world people want to come back to and characters they're going to care about.
The
and
thing
not
I
just based on current day.
the thing I loved about this show is that the first season is very grounded, and it just gets wackier and wackier with every season.
Yeah.
And you
Every-
just have to suspend disbelief because it's just you just focus on the story.
I don't even have to. I just like, okay, this is just, it's a world of karate.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
I'm
But
okay.
it's so good, and the way they ended it and did Johnny Lawrence's character justice, yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, it is definitely worth it. I will highly recommend it. Go watch it. I know next week on Friday, Ballbusters, we will be having a spoiler-filled discussion next
Okay.
Friday on Ballbusters.
I'll check that out. I'll watch that.
Because that's
show
a
for
week.
sure.
Then it's a week. You've
Yeah,
had
give
your
people time to watch it. You know,
you've had your
Yeah.
time.
Especially on
Not-
shows. On movies is a little bit different. More people are doing spoilers,
Yeah.
like on movie releases, but
But yeah,
a
so
good series.
we're gonna
Well,
do a
also with shows,
spoiler-filled
it sucks
discussion next
because
Friday.
some people, it's like some shows drop the whole season, and so people binge watch it, and then they want to talk about it. And other shows, you've got week by week or whatever. And
I
then you
would
get
have loved it if it had been weekly. I would have.
What?
loved it.
Yeah.
I would have loved it if it had been weekly. We could have. I
it
could
should have been
would have been
weekly.
review. Could have had
Yeah, Netflix is
streams.
trying
Would have been
to split
great.
the baby.
Would've been
Yeah,
great.
I'm current up until the last season, so I just got watched the 3
Yeah.
parts.
I
which is
waited.
the
I
12th season
waited
now.
until the season 6 was done, and
is it?
the other
Mhm.
night, it's 15 episodes. They're all about 30 to 40 minutes, so they're pretty long episodes. They're not like the 20-minute shot ones. These are
Oh,
all
good.
beefy episodes.
Yeah, the last season was longer.
So I mean, I watched it after Ballbusters on Friday night. I was like, all right, I'm not ready to go to sleep. I'll watch a couple episodes. Yeah, I almost watched the whole damn thing.
Yeah, and another thing is William Zabka. After hearing how grateful he was the show took off, I love the guy personally. He seems like a very down to earth and is just happy and humble that he was able to have a second shot in acting
Cool.
the way he did. So yeah, I like I said, I can't give this show praise enough, but he seemed very humble about how everything took off the way it did.
And Kel brought it up. With any luck, this upcoming Karate Kid movie, which then will now canonize the Will Smith garbage, hopefully what they will do in that won't necessarily touch anything in Cobra Kai. With any
Yeah,
luck.
I hope it doesn't.
It
I hope
feels
it's
like
just,
it won't. It feels
I
like
hope it's just a
yeah.
Daniel coming together with the original actors of that movie, and they don't do anything with the other stuff.
Alf, without spoiling, you can agree that it could work in that
Yeah.
world, but they don't need to reference Cobra Kai at all.
Exactly. Don't bring it
Yeah.
up at all.
Yeah, there's a way for it because of Daniel's position in how the series ends. It will
Yeah.
work, but we don't need to reference anything that happened in the 6 seasons
Oh yeah,
of Cobra Kai.
I get what you're saying. Exactly the way they
Yeah.
ended it with Daniel.
Yeah.
This could be a
It
step
works
forward.
for his character, and you don't need to reference. You don't need to touch the content of Cobra Kai. Just keep it. It's kind of always said it's a side adventure in the current world of Karate Kid that exists now. They've gone this far, but it's a side thing. Leave it in its own little bubble off to the side. Let's not go near Cobra Kai at all, please don't, because Now, you know what? If the movie turns out to be good, then hey, fine. But I don't have high hopes for it. I don't.
Yeah, I'll check it
don't
out.
care.
But yeah, every season where like Cobra Kai was starting to be like, okay, I'm not really feeling it, either the new kids or whatever. Then they bring back Terry Silver or somebody. I'm like, okay, I'm back in. I'm back. I like it.
What Kel says, I would be fine if they mention his family. That would be fine. Like I have a wife at home, a son in high school, and a daughter in college. You know, that would be fine.
Yep.
But that's acceptable because that still doesn't really touch the content of the story of Cobra Kai. We just don't I let's hope they're smart enough. Let's
just bring in snippets, little references, but don't don't change the story.
Don't touch the characters.
Yeah.
Don't touch them.
All right. Well, we talked movies, we talked shows a little bit. What about video games? What's going on in video games this week?
Oh, that I've got no idea.
Well, we had what did we have last week? It was the PlayStation came out with their little
it's State of Play last week.
State of Play.
I don't care about those things.
Yeah, I don't really focus on PlayStation stuff.
Well,
I know
the thing is, I mean, Alf, you and I have distinctly different tastes in games. We know this at this point.
Yeah. We have some crossover.
Yeah,
obviously,
but
we play
little crossover. But I mean, in terms of styles, I never pay attention to anything, whether it's PlayStation, whether it's Xbox, whether it's Nintendo, because nobody cares about talking RPGs. So I don't care. They're not going to do it. So I tend to not pay attention. Now, that one game that's going to it's going to be Arthurian type stuff in modern in current day England, London. That looks like it's going to be a fun game if they pull that off. Nice little action hack and slasher. Look, it'd be fun. Yeah. But I'm not going to pay $70 for it. I'm not going to do that.
No. Anyone who is in my audience knows I don't buy games brand new very often because it's a ripoff most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I like to wait and see like what people think of the game, and if it's worth it, then I'll fork over the money. But I usually wait.
For the general stuff that you played, that's kind of what works. Like for an RPG, you know, buying it fresh off the thing, it's acceptable because it's an RPG. It's the section of gaming where you're not generally a part of the mainstream for it. I mean, so I don't have a problem buying an RPG off the rack immediately when it launches. I mean, most of the time also because these days I try to stream something. But I do like to wait some time to try and get a price drop. Like right now, I'm still waiting. They just started it. Price drop on Dragon Quest 3 2D HD. So they just started doing a price drop on that. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that, which I will stream that one. Actually, honestly, this year I'm looking more forward to remakes and remasters that are coming out than anything else new.
I think. Games.
Oh well, in next month we've got Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster for cross console for everything. I've already got my reserved. And then the Lunar Remastered Collection comes out in April. Interesting though, even though it's released cross-platform, it's a PS4 game, which is interesting. It's not a PS5 game. But I guess that's how they're going to do it. That's fine as long as I get it. Man, I haven't given away. I have all my old copies of all versions of Lunar, like all of them. But I'd like a copy that I can play on my modern console, which I can stream. Can't stream the old stuff. You need special shit to hook up that I'm not spending money on. So
I've got a capture card. I stream my old consoles. But...
you still have to get extra stuff for some of them. Like you can't stream from the Elgato to a PS3. You need some extra. You need to do extra work because the PS3 is hard locked. You can't do that. They built it in a really dumb way. You need an extra.
What about retro consoles?
You definitely can. I've done it.
You can, but then again, if you're playing it like everybody knows, you can't playing retro games on one of these is terrible. You have to get an old school
right. But I've like if you go back and look at it on the stream, it looks fine, but on your TV, it's gonna look like shit.
Yeah, but but why do I want to play in a game looks like shit, but everybody else looks good for everybody else? I don't want to do that. Fuck that.
I'm okay with it. It's
no,
still
screw
playable.
that.
It's still
playable. It has to look good for me. Fuck that. It has to look good
it's
for me.
It's still playable.
I myself. Shut up.
It's more for the presentation for the audience.
No, fuck the audience.
Me play Super Mario.
Fuck the audience. You heard it. Adam said, "Fuck the audience."
Oh.
It's about me. I'm getting my entertainment.
All right. What about books? Anybody reading books, comic books, novels, anything this week?
I don't read modern novels. They all suck.
I've been going back. I haven't done it in a while, but I was listening to an audiobook of the Fellowship of the Ring. I need to go back and finish listening to it.
I decided to restart one of my favorite hard sci-fi series recently, on Basilisk Station, which is the Honor Harrington series by David Weber. It's pretty good if you like hard sci-fi. But it's got like, I think 20 books now, so be prepared for a fun ride.
Nice. Yeah, I'm almost done with Game of Thrones show for the second time. So now I've decided I'm gonna listen to the audiobook and then eventually read it, but I'm not a good long reader. So
Yeah,
you can
I'm
watch the end of that and not want to kill someone.
I know I'm on
the
last 2 seasons right now,
Yeah.
and it's driving me crazy.
I'm
As soon as I get to the point where Mahler was doing the videos on it, I'm gonna listen to his stuff right afterwards. I think it's season 8.
Yeah, I'm a slow reader, so listening to audiobooks, especially since I have a 35-minute drive to work, it works for me.
Nice.
But yeah, I just want to get more context from all the stories, especially the ones that connect to House of the Dragon too. When is season 3 coming out? Probably 2 years.
They just started. They just said they finished the scripts this
Yeah,
week.
before that comes out, I want to be up to date on
Well,
the Game of Thrones book and House of the Dragon book. Do you know what books those are?
House of the Dragon doesn't end very happy. No, I'm not trying to be spoiler here, but
I want to catch up to where the show is.
House of the Dragon is a very pretty bad ending. Not like bad, but it's like a lot of people die.
I just like the history. Like, I'm a completionist. I want to connect the dots. How the story of House of the Dragon, then what is it, like 1,000 years later?
Well, it's like there's a reason why the what's their names? The family with the white hair. What
Targaryens.
The Targaryens.
There's a reason the Targaryen family is so diminished by the time you get to Game of Thrones.
starts.
Yeah, they barely talk about him on the first.
And it has a lot to do. It has a lot to do with the House of the Dragon story.
Yeah, Gary Nerdrotic was like, "Don't name your kid Rhaenyra."
Yeah, please don't. It doesn't end well.
Well, the fact that we get so many kids named after like characters from pop cultural things like Game of Thrones or movies or books or whatever, it gets ridiculous sometimes. But it turns out like in Japan, it's illegal to name your kid. They have a whole list of names, and most of them come from anime. And you can't. It is illegal to name your child something that will make his future life difficult. So no boys named Sue allowed in Japan.
Well, let's do a little MegCon recap for those of us, me and Horny Alf.
Yeah,
I guess.
I wasn't even planning on going. I had, like I told at the earlier beginning of the stream, I had a family emergency. I wasn't planning on going, but I was heading home after the emergency, and I was driving to where I live. And I was like, you know what? It's on the way slightly. I just took the off-ramp and went that way to Orlando. I'm not a big fan of the meetup location. I don't care if Jeremy hears that, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to, and then like they don't rent the whole place out, so randos are coming in there, and then after a certain hour, it's a bunch of clubbers. But I thought the meetup was good. I got to see everyone. I was there a little late, but got to talk to just about everyone, I believe. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good time.
I got to meet Kel. He's in the chat.
Oh yeah. I met so many people there. They're like, "Hey, my name is this online." I'm like, "Okay."
I got
it's
to
just
meet
hard
Dom.
to like connect the face.
Got to meet Dom H. He's in the chat.
Dom's a good one.
Yeah, I got to meet a lot of people. So for the first time, I got to meet Ing the Merciless.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Alan Ing was there.
Yeah, but
he was just bouncing around, having a good time.
My first time meeting Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, so it was fun too.
Yeah, in Vegas,
it was a good time. I went to
the
panel. The panel was awesome. Packed house for sure. And then they did the signing. So from like 2 to 5 at the exhibit hall, which was massive. There were so many people there. I lasted like an hour, but I was able to get out and do that. But that was fun. And then the meetup was just awesome, but very busy for sure.
Yeah.
How does it compare to the Vegas meetup?
I like Vegas meetup because it's just more hangout time. It's more closer together, so you can do a lot more stuff.
And there's areas where you don't have like techno music going. where you can actually sit and talk to people. You know, they have that at that Vegas location, but it's a separate section. Like they rent out multiple sections. So there's one where it's quiet. You can sit down and talk to each other.
Yeah.
I'll say this, comparing both of those to the Dallas meetup, at least the last location they used, was everything was quiet. It was, I mean, it's a bar atmosphere, but it's not like a
It's
dance.
more like a lounge.
It's not like a lounge, not a dance club. So there's not loud music playing. It's just, you know, conversation of the audience and everyone just kind of mixing and milling. And Drew can confirm that with the Dallas meetup. There's no like loud music. It's not like a dance club. It's just a bar to hang out and chit chat.
Yep, that was a good one too. And then San Antonio, like in October, was great because it was a bar, but we had a separate outdoor area. And so there was multiple places where there was like a stage, then a bar, and then along the side, you could find Gary, Jeremy, Rippaverse. So you could be in whatever line you wanted or jump into each one. So that was awesome. I thought that was a really cool location.
I liked Dallas because they rent out the entire bar and they actually check your tickets at the door, so you don't have randos in there. It's just people that are there for the meetup.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to if Vegas is still on. I know it's a Nerdrotic thing and Gary's had some family stuff going on, but I think they're starting to work out the details. So we might hear more this week. Cool.
Right.
Well,
I got this video, this trailer I want you guys to watch.
Go for it. Yeah.
Is Adam, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. No, I'm here.
All right. So I got a trailer for this. This was recommended by Nerdrotic and a few others on Twitter. I watched it today. I loved it. It's not like the best movie ever, but it was great. It's got Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller in it, and it's on Apple TV Plus. But we'll bring it up, so I'm going to add it to the stage. And y'all let me know if there's echoing. I tested this out earlier with Drew, but we didn't have any issues with it. And let me know if it's too loud, but we'll go ahead and start it. And I don't care if we get a copyright. I'll just cut this section out later.
I have new orders that require me to go dark for at least a year, maybe more. A special assignment in an undisclosed location.
As an elite sniper, are you presently under any private or military contract?
No, there's not a lot of reasons for me right now.
What if I gave you a reason?
There she is. West Tower Observation Post. Your home for the next 365 days. There is no outside communication here.
What's that on the other side?
That is East Tower. Contact with the other side is strictly forbidden.
So what's the mission? To keep people from going in the gorge?
No. You need to stop what's in the gorge from coming out.
What the hell is that?
The gorge is the door to hell.
What do y'all think so far?
Well, I'm kind of confused. I thought this was going to be like a military movie, and now it's the gates to hell.
He is. So he's a guy that I guess suffered from some PTSD. They kicked him out of the military. He's a expert sniper. They hired him on as a contractor for this. Super secret. But yeah, and there's a lot more left in this story, but I wanted to see what you guys think so far.
So far, I'm hooked.
All right, let's keep going.
And we're standing guard at the gate.
That's for the ladies.
Hypers.
Gardening and drinking. Not bad.
How do snipers flirt?
What's
They're
the
playing
truth about
chess.
this place? What's the truth about the gorge?
I'm
This
in.
place is evil.
Damn.
Yeah, so far so good. Looks good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
I enjoyed it. It may not be Adam's cup of tea, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, give me some good dialogue, a good story.
Yeah,
I'm
and there's
excited
some
to see- I want to see
there-
them do trick shots off to each other. I want to see this. I want to see sniper flirting.
there's some sniper flirting, but it's yeah, it's crazy because you think it's just a military assignment like special forces, and then it ends up being otherworldly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up being pretty
And
good.
I'm generally okay with supernatural stuff because it's obviously supernatural leaning, demons, obviously coming out of hell, whatever. I don't know. I have very little interest in these types of situations in movies these days. Nothing gets me excited if it's got any sort of real world base. Very rarely. I don't trust anybody to mix science fiction, fantasy with real world stuff anymore. I just don't. I don't
Well,
trust. So,
I would say
see.
go see it, but if it,
and one
I
thing you have to
enjoyed
you also have to understand one thing about me. A couple of you may know this, a couple of you may not. I don't do well when people recommend me shit. You either let me find it on my own or don't bother. I do not do well and say, go watch this. Yeah, that if you want me to watch something, don't tell me to watch it. Don't tell me you must go watch this. Don't do that.
no, you don't have to.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
no. I'm not. No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. I'm saying
You're
if
like
people
you're
want
like
me-
Ryan Kennel.
ODD.
If people want me to watch something, let me find it on my own.
Yeah.
Never. Don't try and
You
tell
gotta
me
trick
to do
them.
this.
You gotta
do
write
this.
down a napkin.
Yeah.
Like,
I was just
Yeah.
saying.
You're like
I
the
was just
puzzle.
saying that
Just
it's
tie him to a
surprising.
chair and make him watch it.
Yeah.
I was just saying people that I respect their opinion told me it was good, and I watched it. I enjoyed it. That's it.
Yeah, that's
So-
how I was with Landman, where people start talking about Landman. And I'm like, I don't know. Should I get it? Should I look into Paramount Plus? And I'm like, okay, I'm in. I heard enough people talk about it, then I watched an episode, and I was
I
hooked.
have zero interest in Landman.
Yeah,
None.
it's
What
different.
is Landman?
I liked Landman.
What is
It's
it?
like
So,
Yellowstone.
Land-
I also don't like
before
Billy Bob
the
Thornton, so.
oil rigs.
Yeah,
Ah.
Landman. Yeah, exactly. Landman is like Yellowstone, but it's in Texas, and it has to do with
It's Billy
He's
Bob
a-
Thornton just
Billy
being
Bob.
a
Yeah, Billy
base
Bob Thornton is
old guy.
he works for the oil company on land acquisitions for drilling oil.
Ah.
And
okay,
it-
so
and
not
it-
the
it br-
Roughnecks,
it-
but the guys who go before the Roughnecks.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
brings in like the cartels and whatnot.
Yeah,
So-
so it's got like
Great.
Breaking Bad aspects to it. I'm not directly.
Yeah, I don't like
comparing
Breaking
it.
Bad either.
And it's kind of a drama because you got his wife, Allie Ladder, which looks like, or if you remember Varsity Blues, she was in
Yes.
that Whipped Cream Girl.
Ah,
It's like her
gotcha.
character
Okay.
just grew up to where she is now because still in
Yeah,
Texas.
same character too.
It seems like the same exact character.
Wow.
which is
Okay.
Yeah, it's goofy. It's drama. It's kind of like like a Dallas or something like that.
Yeah,
on
I
Rick.
gotcha.
But yeah, let's wrap it up there. Let's go, Tiny, Horny Alf, Adam, and then I'll close out. So Tiny, what do you got going on this week?
I have the insert title here podcast on Friday at 9:30 Pacific every Friday. That is on Drunken Emerald Arrows channel. And I have Curse of Strahd D&D every other Saturday, so not next week but the week after. Like not this coming weekend but the week after. And every Sunday you can find me here at 4 p.m. Pacific. And other than that, I'm just kind of bouncing around, helping people out here and there. I will be on Mr. Burger's late night trivia, 11:50 p.m. Pacific time, on on Saturday nights.
Cool. And what are you
And-
watching or reading this week?
I was just reading, or I was I think I was supposed to be the one to say say the name and the thing at the end, but Iron started saying it, so I didn't have to do my job. But no, it's a lot of fun. Like he normally does music from like the 80s or the 90s, and the chat gets involved, and everyone likes to have some fun.
Cool.
Reminds us of our childhood.
Awesome. Horny Alf, what are you doing
Yeah,
this week?
man. I do mostly gaming content for those who don't know me from the other channels because we're streaming to multiple channels right now. But tomorrow I'm going to be continuing my playthrough of Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and I might play something else, maybe RoboCop. I don't know. On Wednesdays, I normally play War Thunder. I've been leveling through the aircraft, so it's World War II aircraft, dogfights, and such.
Cool.
Fridays, we've been playing Dark Tide. Saturdays, I kind of changed it up. I've been playing Vermintide, but I might play something different. I don't know. We'll see. And then Sundays, you catch me back here again at 7 p.m. Eastern. But other than that, that's all I got.
Oh yeah, and Adam, our guest.
Well, first of all,
you got going on?
thanks for having me on, guys.
Both online and in your own life, as far as watching.
Nobody wants to know about my life. My life sucks. Anyway, guys, thanks for having me on. It's a good time. Always happy to hang out and talk nerdy shit. Well, it's a lot of stuff. If you haven't checked it out, you want to watch my full take on Brave New World. My review is up. There are 2 versions because it had some copyright issues that ended up being resolved, but each one has unique comments, so it would be unfair to remove one and deny people their thoughts in the comment section. So there are 2 versions. You can watch either one. My words are the same. It's just the background will be altered for copyright reasons. So you can check that out on my channel. Every Monday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, we got Mellow Mondays. You can find Drew there. A couple others. We hang out, talk nerd shit, do really dumb shit over there. Then rest of the week, I'm currently, unfortunately, reviewing Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and all its crap that involved that. We got another week of it at least. I still need to catch up. I didn't get the last episode from last week out yet. And whatever interesting things I find I can have a solid take on for videos, stuff like that. Other streams this week will include every Friday. You can find me on Jeremy Wormy's channel for Ball Busters. As I said earlier, we're coming up on our 100th episode for that one.
Oh, wow.
Every Saturday, 6 p.m.
Congrats.
Eastern on mine and Jed the Hollywood Scholars channel. We do Saturday Night Drive-In, where we do a movie and we talk about it. We don't watch it. We just discuss it. As I said earlier this week, to get the bad taste of Brave New World out of our mouths, we're doing Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I was going to do Top Gun, but I
Nice.
said, no. We're going to do Winter Soldier instead, just because. It's time. It's timing. Then I'm usually on Saturday on Dermy's channel as well, where we're just chilling out, talking stupid shit. Sometimes I play the games. Sometimes I don't. Every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, my panel show, The Round Table, where we give our unique takes on the week's events and other stuff, including sometimes very, very outlandish rants from myself and the other members of the panel. I have a current one I'm very proud of. I might post it up there.
And that's all Renaissance Nerd YouTube?
Yeah, the Renaissance Nerd. It's my main channel. I have a secondary channel, Renaissance Nerd Arcade, where I usually re-upload all gaming streams from the main channel over there. And that's pretty much it.
Cool.
So
are you on X or anything else?
Oh yeah, at the Ren Nerd on X. I'm a terrible Xer. I'm there to troll stands and shit on Dermy and sometimes promote some other people's stuff. That's about it. I'm not.
Well, maybe we could hold a space together. I'll have you on a space if you want to talk.
Cool, man. I'm game for anything.
It's
just
a different world, but it's fun.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Again, thanks for having me, guys. We just we're winning, but we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful.
Take a little time before we get there. But yeah,
can't take our foot off their neck right now.
I'm Drew Outstanding on X. Like I said, my new channel, brand new today, is Physical Media Warriors. We're going to talk retro games, physical media, and just kind of grow something pretty cool over there. But yeah, thanks for jumping in. Pretty cool MCU discussion, good and bad. But yeah, it's been great. So we're going to do this every Sunday at that 7654 time frame. 7654 American time, except for Mountain. Who does
Yeah,
that?
thanks for everyone who was here. We all appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Everybody
All
say bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Good
I
night.
hit the button. Did it work?
Hit the button.
I hit the button.
Button.